Hey there, welcome back to the channel. Listen to me. Once was enough. They shattered your trust. They crushed your heart. They walked over your soul like it meant nothing, and you bled, you cried, you drowned in nights that felt endless. But you survived. And if you survived that storm once, you do not ever allow the same lightning to strike you twice. They showed you exactly who they are. They proved that they cannot be trusted with your love, your loyalty, or your soul. So why you again? That would not just be there, but you ever hand them the keys to break trail. It would be your mistake, and you are too strong, too wise, too rebuilt to let history repeat itself. Marcus Aurelius said, "Scars are not weakness. They are armor, and if you stand tall today, it's because the pain they gave you turned into fuel that made you untouchable." They broke you once. Don't you dare let them do it again. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I will never be broken twice. Number 1, your pain turned into power. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor does the body." That heartbreak you went through wasn't just pain, it was training. It forged you into something harder, sharper, stronger. They thought breaking you would leave you weak. Instead, it carved out a new version of you, one that is not fragile, one that cannot be bent so easily again. Your pain was a furnace. It burned away the illusions. It showed you who is real and who is fake, who loves you and who only uses you. And in the ashes of what they destroyed, you found yourself. That is the gift of suffering. It reveals your true strength. They expected you to crawl back. They expected your tears to last forever. But here you are, still breathing, still moving, still rising. That is the power they cannot stand, because your survival is proof of their failure. Don't bury your scars. Look at them. Own them. Remind yourself daily, I lived through hell and I came back stronger. Write down 3 ways your pain made you better, sharper, and wiser. That is your proof. You cannot be broken again. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My pain became my power. Number 2, silence forces them to see their mistake. Seneca said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more that is poor." Your silence is a mirror reflecting their misjudgment. When you stop reacting, stop explaining, and stop giving them access to your energy, they are forced to face the truth. They took someone invaluable for granted. They expected easy control. But now your absence exposes their failure. Every unanswered call, every ignored message, every calm moment you maintain becomes a reminder of what they lost and what they will never regain unless they change. Silence doesn't humiliate, it enlightens. It's the quiet sting that shakes their confidence, because it shows them that your power is not in their hands. It has always been in yours. They begin replaying every interaction, every misstep they made, and every opportunity they wasted. The more they dwell, the more they realize your presence was not just convenient. It was essential, and now it is gone. This is the power of restraint. They cannot argue with what they do not understand, and your silence becomes an undeniable testament to your self-respect. From this moment forward, resist the urge to justify yourself. Let your absence and composure tell the story instead. Focus on your goals, your growth, and your self-discipline. Every time you remain calm while they fumble, their recognition. Number 3, your silence is their mirror. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you go silent, you give them no reaction, no comfort, no escape from themselves. Suddenly, they are forced to sit in the echo of their own choices. Your silence becomes a mirror they cannot escape, reflecting their betrayal, their weakness, their loss. And here's the truth. They hate it. They expected you to cry, to beg, to plead for them to stay. That would have fed their ego, healed their guilt, made them feel powerful. But your silence that starves them. It confronts them with something they cannot control. And people who crave control cannot handle a storm they didn't start. Don't you see? Your silence is not emptiness. It is exposure. It exposes who they really are. It exposes the cracks in their mind. Confidence. It exposes the fact that without your voice, without your attention, without your energy, they are nothing but noise fading into the background. So stay quiet. Stay unbothered. Because every second you don't answer, every minute you don't explain, every hour you don't chase, they're the ones drowning, not you. Your silence isn't weakness. It's the sharpest sword you own. The next time you feel tempted to break your silence just to prove a point, remind yourself the silence is already proving it, louder than words ever could. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My silence speaks louder than their lies. Number 4, silence turns the power back to you. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And this is exactly why your silence is terrifying to them, because it proves you are no longer under their control. The moment you stop reacting, you take back buttons and watch you explode. They expected to ghost you and see you beg for answers. They expected to leave and then return and find you waiting with open arms. But silence changes the game. Silence makes it clear. You don't need them. You don't depend on them. You're not hanging on their words, their moods, or their attention. And here's the part they'll never admit. When you hold your silence, they panic. Why? Because suddenly the roles flip. They're the one checking their phone. They're the one wondering what you're thinking. They're the one replaying everything in their head, searching for answers they will never get. You don't have to scream to be heard. You don't have to fight to prove you've won. Silence is victory without lifting a finger. It's not revenge. It's evolution. It's you rising above their chaos and stepping into your strength. The next time you feel tempted to answer just to ease their guilt or soothe their ego, pause and remind yourself, voice. They lost the right to your response the day they broke your trust. Number 5, they fear the void you left. Marcus Aurelius said, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you remove yourself and stay silent, you force them to sit with their own thoughts, unfiltered, unprotected, and haunting. The noise they once drowned out with your attention is gone, and now the silence echoes louder than your words ever could. They told themselves they'd be fine without you. They acted like losing you was no big deal. But silence exposes the lie. Every unanswered message, every day that passes without your voice digs at them. It gnaws at their confidence because deep down they expected you to return. They built their arrogance on the belief that you would always chase. But when you don't, their illusion crumbles. Understand this. Silence doesn't just sting them for a moment. It rewrites their reality. The gravity of what they destroyed. That void you created cannot be filled by distractions, by rebounds, or by fake smiles. It lingers. It grows heavier with every passing day. And here's your power. You don't have to lift a hand. You don't have to prove your worth. The silence does the work for you. It whispers to them in the middle of the night. It reminds them of what they can't replace. It teaches them brutally and relentlessly that letting you go was their greatest mistake. Stop checking their moves. Stop worrying about their reaction. Let the silence play its role. Your job is to stay focused on building your life, while their job is to suffer in the space you left behind. I want you to drop this affirmation in the comments right now. My absence is their greatest loss. Number 6, your silence makes you untouchable. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." Freedom isn't about running away. Its silence is the ultimate act of self-mastery. When you refuse to respond, when you refuse to break, you're proving something powerful. You cannot be controlled. You cannot be shaken. And you cannot be owned by anyone's games. Understand this. People lose their grip when they lose access. They can't toy with you. They can't drain you. They can't twist your emotions when you've locked the door and thrown away the key. Your silence strips them of their favorite weapon, control. They wanted to push your buttons, but you stopped playing. They wanted to provoke a reaction, but you gave them none. They wanted to feel powerful, but your calmness destroyed their illusion. Silence makes you untouchable because it forces them to face a truth they never wanted to see. You don't need them. You don't need their validation, their approval, or their attention. You've built something. Stay silent. You rise above the noise. While they scramble for attention, you move with dignity. While they obsess over why you haven't answered, you focus on your peace, your goals, your growth. That is untouchable energy. That is strength they can't break. Practice self-mastery daily. The next time you feel the urge to reply, breathe, pause, and remind yourself silence is not weakness. It's proof of your power. Protect it at all costs. Number 7, your silence turns their confidence into doubt. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this, and you will find strength. And this is exactly what happens when you stay silent. You flip the power dynamic inside their head. Their confidence, their arrogance, their certainty that you'd always be there begins to crack because silence creates one thing they cannot control: doubt. You'll answer eventually, but as the hours turn into days, as your silence stretches longer, their confidence starts to erode. They replay every word they said, every action they took, wondering if that's what pushed you away. They question their own worth, their own control, their own value in your eyes. Suddenly, the roles are reversed. They were supposed to make you chase. They were supposed to have the upper hand. But your silence, it robs them of that illusion and forces them to face a reality they cannot escape. You're no longer under their control. People fear what they cannot predict, and silence is unpredictable. It shakes their ground because it gives them nothing to hold on to. No reaction, no reassurance, no validation, just emptiness. And emptiness echoes louder than words. Your silence is the reminder that you've taken back your power. And that realization cuts deeper than any argument or reply ever could. This is where your strength shines brig. Because silence isn't about ignoring. It's about mastering your emotions so deeply that no one else can dictate your moves. And when they see you're no longer playing the game, they start to doubt everything. That doubt grows into regret. That regret turns into suffering. And that suffering. Every time you want to break your silence, remind yourself that doubt is the weight they now carry, not you. Let them sit with it. Let them feel it. Because your silence is not just quiet. It's power in its purest form. Number 8, your silence proves you chose yourself. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." And when you stay silent, you are declaring to the world, and more importantly, to yourself, that you are the master of your life. You are no longer chained to their validation, their games, or their approval. You didn't stay quiet because you were weak. You ever were attached to them. Choosing silence is choosing freedom. Choosing silence is choosing strength. Choosing silence is choosing self-respect. Let silence be the shield that guards your worth. And let action, not words, prove who you are. Now listen closely, because this is where it all comes together. you've learned the brutal truth. Silence is not weakness. Silence is strategy. Silence is strength. Every moment you held back, Aurelius reminded us, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. Your strength does not come from them. Your strength comes from you. From your choices, your discipline, your self-respect, and your refusal to give away your power to someone who tried to take it. Every action you take now, every boundary you set, every ounce of your focus on self-growth is a declaration. I am the master of my life. I am the source of my happiness. I will not be broken again. Remember this. They may regret. They may wonder. They may question everything about their choices. But your life does not stop for their confusion. Your peace does not pause for their pain. Your power grows stronger. With every silent moment you honor yourself. Silence isn't just a response. It's a revolution within you. It's energy. Guard your heart. Walk away from anyone who tries to diminish your worth. Let your actions, your calm, and your silence speak louder than any words ever could. They may not understand. They may resist. They may struggle. That is their journey. Your journey is forward, upward, and unstoppable. If you feel that fire inside you, if you feel that power awakening, I want you to commit. Commit to silence as your shield, your strength, and your choice. Commit to yourself, because no one else will fight harder for your peace than you. Drop this affirmation in the comments right now. I am unshakable. I am untouchable. I choose myself. If this video gave you clarity, power, or courage, make sure you hit subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss the wisdom and strategies that elevate you above anyone who underestimates. Stayed quiet because you were strong enough to choose yourself over their chaos. They expected tears. They expected anger. They expected you to come running back, begging for attention. But instead, you gave them nothing. And in that nothing, you gave yourself everything. Because silence is not just about ignoring them. It's about honoring you. It's about protecting your peace, your dignity, and your worth. When you stay silent, you're saying, I don't need your approval. I don't need your presence. I don't need your drama. And that message is louder than anything words could ever express. It tells them you've leveled up. You've outgrown them. You've built a life where their noise doesn't reach you anymore. And here's the truth. People can't handle when you choose yourself. It breaks their illusion of